Hello and welcome to this Excel tutorial. Today we'll be starting right from the very beginning with the assumption that you've just installed Microsoft Excel, but you have no idea what it looks like or how to use it. So when you first click on Microsoft Excel icon, you'll be greeted with a page that looks a bit like this. Now I've created previous Excel documents before, so I've got an option here to quick select and quickly open a document which I've previously created. However, for you, when you've just installed it, this will just be blank. There'll be nothing here. But you will have this top option list here where you have a series of preset templates available, but you also have the option to create a blank workbook. So if you click on that, and what we'll have here is a blank spreadsheet. So when you click on blank workbook, a blank spreadsheet will open up. And the first function I'll show you, because it's necessary for this tutorial, is the zoom function. So if I just click on the spreadsheet, and notice if we go down to the bottom right, you'll see here that we have an option to zoom in. So if I click on that, now the spreadsheet will now zoom in. Here, parts of the spreadsheet will zoom in, and we can zoom in if you press plus, and we can zoom out if you press minus. So I'll zoom in a lot so that hopefully you'll be able to see what's going on a lot more clearly. Okay, so notice what we zoomed in on was this section here. And what this section is contained a series of cells. And it's set out similar to when you create like a table where you have your columns going from A along to B, C, D, E, F, G, so on and so forth. When it hits Z, two letters will appear. It will go AA, AB, AC, AD, and so on, all the way along to XFD. So it goes along quite a bit. And with the rows, it will start at 1, go down 2, 3, 4, and so on, all the way to 1,048,576. Older Excel versions won't go down as far as that, and newer ones which come out may go a bit further. And what these represents are labeling for a cell. So if you click on the top left corner in the white space, this is one cell, and its cell label is A1 because it's got the column A and the row 1. If you go along to the right one, we see here that the row B, the column B, and it's row 1. And this cell is called B1. If you go along, that cell is called C1 and D1 and so forth. And we can click in any cell on this page. What we can also do is select multiple cells. So if we left click on a cell, and if we left click and hold it, and then drag across around, whatever selection we want, and then we let go, that is our selection made. So our green box is what our selection is. We can change the size of the green box by left clicking, holding, and then dragging around. So these are our cells. If I zoom in a bit more, these are our cells. On the top here, you would have noticed that there's like sort of text here and what seem to be lots of buttons. This is called a ribbon, and in the ribbon, we notice we're in the home section to begin with, but these ribbons are broken up into sections. So we have clipboard, font, alignment, number, and so forth. And these represent sort of a quick access to lots of functions, to some of the functions that are available to us within Excel. And we'll be going into some of these functions in later parts. This is the home section. We can also click on the insert, and a whole new set of functions will appear in our ribbon. And also page layout, formulas, data, and so on. Don't worry if this looks a bit too much. I'll explain the ribbon to you and parts of the functions in the ribbons step by step. So let's go back to our cells. Click on home again in the ribbon, and let's go back to our cells. So if we click on cell B2, and what we can do, let's put the number in there. Let's put number 1. So if you press 1, that input box or that cell will immediately populate. And what we can do is we can click out of it and be and that number will fix into that input cell. What we can also do is we can click below it and we can press the number 2, and we can also press number 3 below that, click below that, press number 3, and so on and so forth, and numbers will just populate within each cell that we've clicked on. We can also do the same with text. So we can put, let's put my channel name, analystrising, and then we can press enter or press down key or click out of it to get that input into that cell. Notice that the text analystrising has gone beyond the cell D and it seems to be going into cell E. Don't worry, it is still part of cell D, it's just overflowed slightly to the right, and what we can do we can either change the column width, or we can just sort of put text in column E and to prove that that value is just in column D. So we can just let's put number 1 in E2, and we notice that the value here has been cut off, but we can have all of that appearing again if we can change by changing the width of that column. And we can do that by, if we go to the line between columns D and E, you'll notice that you'll have this sort of this sort of icon will appear where it has like a left and right arrow and a sort of bar going between them. So if you click on that, we can now alter the width of the column, and if we go out a bit to the right, because you want the ing to appear, go a bit more, here we can now show all of our text without it being cut off. Alternatively, what you can do is when you have that icon appear, you can double click and it will automatically go to the width of the text. You can do the same with numbers as well. So if we double click on between column B and C, it will automatically go to the width of the number. And this width will be, if you double click, that width will be set to the max, to the width that accommodates all of the text. So if we just put some hello from analystrising, notice that that's much bigger than analystrising. If we double click again, it will accommodate the width of whatever takes up the most width, if that makes sense. And this also works with rows as well. So you can alter the row height by just double clicking where it has between the rows, and you can just drag down and up. Another thing I wanted to show you is that if we go down to the bottom left here, notice it says sheet 1. Now the great thing with Excel is that you can have multiple sheets. You can have lots and lots of data stored in one document. And you don't have to put it all onto one sheet and make it look crowded and cluttered. You can spread out the information across multiple sheets. So this is sheet 1. If we go to the right and click on the plus, we'll create another sheet. And we can also zoom in, again, going to the bottom right and pressing the plus, or zoom out and pressing the minus. And we can start writing our own text again. We can put 1, 2, 3. We can also create another sheet and another one, however many that we want. And we can also delete sheets by right-clicking and pressing delete, and then right-clicking and pressing delete. You can also delete sheets with numbers in them quite easily, so it's something to be careful of. You can press right-click and delete. And then this option will appear, and we just press delete, and that sheet with data will delete. The final thing I'm going to show you in this part is saving, and then we'll call it quits for this part, and then in the next part we'll start going into sort of simple functions and some layouts and maybe a few things in the ribbon. Okay, so with the saving, what you can do is if you click on File, if you go to the ribbon and click on File, which is left of Home, we can click save as, and then we're just going to select desktop in this case, so desktop, and then you can just choose what you want to save it as. So its default is book 1, but you can choose whatever you want to save it as. So I've saved it as introduction to Excel. And then you press save, and then that document is now saved. In this case, it's saved in the desktop. So I hope you've enjoyed that introduction tutorial to Excel. Please do check out my channel. I've got other Excel tutorials on there. I've also got some Python tutorials right from the very start, so there's no need to be worried about learning to code. And please do subscribe as well, because more parts will be appearing for this series to help people who have absolutely no knowledge of Excel whatsoever. Thank you very much for watching.